You guys ready to take a look at some charts? We're looking at Tesla, CCL, SHLL, and a bunch of other tickers. First, I want to start with Tesla because we've been covering this a lot in our TCG ticker requests. And the big story here has, for a very long time, since the 12th, been all about the hourly trend. Higher lows, higher highs, and until we lose higher lows, we don't expect anything but strength from the bulls. Well, finally, that story changed today. We lost our after-hours level of 20.39.15. We lost it in a pretty big way, knocking out hourly higher lows with pretty good volume. We go to the daily candlestick, we can see that that was a big drop. That wasn't a little bit of red consolidation, that was a big drop. It was all about that hourly low loss. Now, what can we expect to happen? We anticipated this consolidation. We were waiting for it. Now we're going to look for the short-term future to determine what's going to happen. First, the most likely outcome may have already come to pass, a lower high under the ultimate high, from which we can create a new trend. That new trend at this point would be likely an hourly trend. So we have our lower high, we'd be looking for a lower low or a test of the support right there at 1927.52. If we hold that, we may develop into an equilibrium. The longer the bulls stay up at this level, the better for them. Or what is the most likely outcome at this point, because we have lost hourly higher lows, we're going to jump up to the next time frame to say, have we lost 4-hour higher lows? And we haven't. In fact, we've had very brief consolidation up here at all. We are slightly, or we were slightly overbought. We're now at 65.15. That's great. And we're going to be looking at this chart in the same way that we have been looking at the hourly chart. 4-hour higher lows. Until those go, we don't expect daily consolidation. So we've got 1927.52. Anything over 1841. 21 is going to be a 4-hour higher low, and we're going to be watching this hourly chart to see this develop. If we can maintain a high over 1927.52, that would give us a very aggressive 4-hour higher low into an equilibrium. If that breaks bull, we lock in our 4-hour EQ, our 4-hour higher low, and we look back up to new highs. If we lose 1927 and develop into an hourly trend, that's still okay. It's not as strong as the bulls would like to see, but we're going to be looking for a high over 1841.21 on the 4-hour time frame. We haven't locked in this 4-hour higher low yet. If we lose 1841.21, that is the beginning of daily consolidation, and we've got a long way to go because these are very brief supports. They may test, they may hold, but on the daily time frame, we get a lot of work to do for our RSI to cool off for one, and for new confident daily higher lows to be set. So, to summarize Tesla, first time we've seen some weakness in a while. Let's see what the bulls are able to do with 1927.52. Let's look for that 4-hour higher low over 1841. If we see strong action out of the gate tomorrow, we're going to look for a double top at 2140 because I don't think this is enough consolidation quite yet. CCL. Now this one is interesting because we've had a very strong daily downtrend, and finally we established higher lows, and with the move that we've seen today, that really locks in those higher lows quite aggressively, and we can go and look at this 1417 as the must hold level for the bulls. We see a 4-hour and hourly trend change. Let's go zoom in on the hourly time frame to take a look at that. Hourly lower highs, the opposite of what we saw on Tesla. Finally, we see a break over top of our hourly level at 1472. We establish a base of support yesterday that comes very, very early in the morning. We see a support test and hold above that. So 1462 is our key level. 1465, 3-cent spread between the low and that support, and then bulls just take off. So the daily time frame, we have a daily higher low. Now we're looking for a higher high. Let's clear our charts, get some perspective about what we're looking at in the future. 1652 is the must break level for the bulls. If we can get over top of that, that will change the daily trend for the first time in a long time. We go to the 4-hour time frame, we'll adjust for the after hours levels. 1665 is a must hold level. At this point on the 4-hour time frame, we're shaping up for a nice little bit of a bull flag. If we can see that attempt, we see a bull flag hold into tomorrow morning, and we see a break over the high of 1621, then bulls have a real shot at getting up to 1665. If they do that, I would be very cautious about placing an entry at that point, simply because we will be overbought on the 4-hour time frame, and no, probably not on the daily time frame, but certainly on the hourly as well, and on the sub time frames. So we would be looking for consolidation before more concrete and confident continuation on the 4-hour time frame. So what I would look for, more consolidation here, a brief move up, a lower high under 1645, a higher low, and develop a nice 4-hour hourly trend. If bulls can get over top of 1665, that's great. We're still going to be expecting some consolidation, in which case we would look for a higher low and continuation like that, locking in that daily trend. Bulls looking very strong right now, so just a little bit of caution at the resistance of 1665 and looking for daily higher lows and higher highs. SHLL. So this one popped up on the old radar, and I can see why people are talking about it today. Daily time frame RSI 85.17. The reason that I want to be cautious on this stock is because if we go back here to June, we see a similar outcome where we've got our green days, 1, 2 big moves up, we see consolidation. Then we see it happen again, 1, 2 big green days, and then consolidation. That consolidation lasts a while. So we need to be cautious when we're looking at these big run-ups so we don't get caught into situations where we're buying up here just because we don't want to miss out. So this is what FOMO is, being afraid of missing out on what could come and getting into a bad situation where you have to rely on. And if you're lucky you bought up here, hopefully you took your profits here and you're not double FOMOing. But we have to be cautious. When we get big run-ups and big overbought moves, they do come down. We just don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that. But until that happens, just like on Tesla, where we see a fantastic run-up, we're going to be watching our trends. So what we're going to do is go to the hourly time frame, and we're going to look for what we will examine as the first sign of weakness. So here's our run on SHLL. So far, we're seeing pretty good higher lows, higher highs. What we can do is go in and mark our hourly levels. Right now, we're not locked in at 39.40 as being, well, let's get our magnets. We need to see an hourly move away from 39.50 to lock that in as an hourly higher low. But right now, 36.18 is the level to watch. Anything above that is going to be a higher low, and bulls don't show any signs of slowing down quite yet. We don't see any divergence on the hourly time frame. Our 4-hour time frame is looking good. This is a little bit of reversal candlestick, but we'll see how it fleshes out. Might be more time in there. Potential volume climax. So what we do is we say, look, we got a reversal. Let's assume that the candle closes here. We have a reversal. We're overbought. What we're going to look for is the loss of our uptrend, in which case right now will be 36.18. If we see a red close here and a green candle to follow, then we'll lock in 39.50 as our hourly higher low. And we can just keep zooming in, looking for the loss of our 15-minute levels. And we can even go further. If we close above 37.60, even after all this red, we can go all the way down to 37.85 and look for a 15-minute higher low into continuation. We're looking for the loss of trend to be the first indication of weakness and forthcoming consolidation. So bulls are in absolute control right now. Do I expect consolidation? Yes, absolutely. We've seen it happen before on SHLL. Keep an eye on your 15-minute, your hourly levels. Watch for an increase in bear volume and watch for the loss of those levels into consolidation. PANW. I'm not sure why this one cropped up on the request radar. It looks like we've got earnings. So this is going to throw our whole chart off, and we can see that it's already happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our 4-hour time frame. We're going to look for previous levels of support resistance. I can see a little bit of 4-hour support here. Where did the magnets always change? 250.72, and then we got resistance at 277, and we're going to look for some whipsaw action. Ultimately, what we want to do is look for a slowdown and establish the first base of support following this drop. If we go to the hourly time frame, do we see any signs of slowing yet? No. Our RSI is at 22.27. No signs of strength on the part of the bulls. 15-minute time frame, one brief little 5-minute consolidation. RSI is at 19.57. 5-minute time frame, that's the trend to watch. 5-minute downtrend, very much in control. Likely with more clarity on the 2-minute. And what we're doing is we're watching the 5-minute time frame. And actually, I'll back up. We'll look at that hourly. And what we're doing is imagining what's happening in each of these candlesticks. And it's going to give us a macro read and a quick analysis of what is happening on the sub time frame. We have to use our imaginations and visualize the price action that's occurring in inside each of these. If I see upper and lower wicks, that tells me that there is some volatility. So there's some sort of trend that's happening, likely. We go to the 15-minute time frame, we can see that we have that volatility. We see bears are in control. We have periods where we happen to close at a high. So that means that it's likely a trend. 5-minute time frame does something similar. We see a little bit of a bump, but we fall back down. Going to the 2-minute time frame, there's the trend itself. So we have a couple of options that we can do. We have that base of support that may come into play. We can draw a happy little trend like that to see if that tends to matter. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a nice way to visualize price action, taking into account 99% of what we're seeing. And if we come down to our 250.72, we see a break above this trend line resistance. We see a break or a price action change where we break from lower highs to a higher high, all of those elements combine into what could become the beginning of a little bit of a bounce in after hours for PANW. That is all I'd be watching right now, and that's all I'm willing to speculate on. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do a review video on this one tomorrow. Curious to see. HCAC, Hennessy Acquisition Corporation. I am not entirely sure why this one cropped up on my radar. All I can see on the daily time frame is that we are in a daily downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. And that's all we can really do. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. What we are looking for at this point is just going to be a lower high underneath $11. The bulls are currently in control, so we're going to have a 15-minute and hourly counter trend. We have a low that we're going to be trying to get back under at 10:31. If we go to our hourly time frame, is it an hourly trend? No. Why isn't it an hourly trend? Because we can see consecutive green candlesticks, and then we can't get any sort of inclination as to what the trend is. We can go to the 5-minute time frame, and that's likely to give us the most information. And what we can see ultimately is that we have some early morning interest, some low volume during the day, a big run up and a big sell off. So overbought RSIs in both cases. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So nice reactions where we would expect them. And at the 15-minute time frame, we are setting 15-minute and 5-minute higher lows. So we're going to look for a low underneath $11. We're going to be watching for the loss of our 15-minute trend. A break of 1060 would kick that into action. And then I would be looking for a return to the 4-hour and hourly downtrend that we have seen so far. A break over top of $11 would have my interest. I'd still be looking for a higher low, but that would signal a potential change here on HCAC. Last one. This chart doesn't look like anything particularly interesting. It's not in earnings, which means usually if there's an uptick in social interest on the different platforms, that there's some sort of news or acquisition or merge or something that's happening. And in most of those cases, it becomes sort of a sell the news thing. So if you are in the know about what is happening with this stock and this price action is what inspired the overall move, and basically we've been holding steady since then you're going to be wanting to watch both when that news is supposed to drop. Is it going to happen in after hours or in regular market? And what are your key levels that are going to indicate you've got to move in either direction that you need to be paying attention to? I'm not going to focus on this outlier. The volume behind it is 200, so someone simply overpaid for CCH in a pretty big way. Ultimately, we're going to be looking for areas of support and resistance, 1420, 1419. That looks like a nice little channel for me to focus on. And then I'm going to be looking at 1351. Most of the action that we've seen in the last few days has been inside that range. So I would just be looking for that range to break. And if we can get ourselves a nice 15-minute range or a 15-minute pattern, like we're developing right now, actually, to back that up, that would be even better. So we're looking for consecutive 15-minute higher lows. What we want to see is our trend to continue and then break 1419 and giving us these levels to stop out against. So if we come all the way up to 1419, see rejection, and then we know that we lost at, say, 1410, we can set a stop loss below 1410, be profitable because we've entered back here on these 15-minute higher lows, and recognize that we've seen a rejection from a known area of resistance and still lock in a profitable trade and get ready for the next attempt at 1419, or perhaps bears will regain control and break 1351. Ultimately, this is going to be a very news-related play, most likely. If you know more about CCH, then you know what's going to happen as far as news and why we're here talking about it today. The beautiful part about technical analysis is we can trade stocks not knowing a single thing about the company that we're looking at. We can just look at the setup. We can read the market analysis. We can understand the price action that's happening behind the scenes and make decisions based on that. And that, my friends, is all the tickers for today. If you're interested in learning more about technical analysis and interpreting price action like this, check us out, TheChartGuys.com. We love what we do, and we'd love you to be a part of our great community. So feel free to ask me any questions you have in the YouTube comments, and I'll get back to you.